God so loved us that he sent his son to be punished for the wrong I've done. He died up on a cross to take my sin and bear. 3 days later Jesus rose to life again. God is lasting, he is always there. I can talk to him here or anywhere. He will always hear, he will always care. This living, loving, lasting God, he hears my prayer. Living, loving, lasting, he cares for me. Living, loving, lasting, he cares for me.
Today in Kids Quest, we will be going through Esther chapter 6, 7 and 8. Firstly, let's go through what happened in chapter 5. In chapter 5, Haman decided he wanted to kill all the Jews, including Esther. This was because Mordecai refused to bow to Haman. Mordecai refused to bow to Haman because Mordecai was a Jew, and Mordecai would only bow to the one true God. Esther then learned of this plan. And to overcome this, she said she would invite the king, Mordecai, and the king and Haman, to a banquet to try and prevent this from happening. Okay then, at the start of chapter 6, King Xerxes, who is king of Persia and also husband of Esther, can't sleep. He's tossing and turning at night. He just can't get to sleep. So what he decides to do is he decides to read the records of what happened in his land to try and help him sleep. When reading these records, he found out about the plot to kill him, and he found out that Mordecai was the one who had saved his life by telling the right people and by preventing him. However, he also found out that Mordecai had got no reward for this. Just then Haman, who is the prime minister and the man who had planned to kill Mordecai and kill all the Jews, including Esther, he enters the palace. The king asks Haman to ensure that Mordecai receives some special treatment. He wants Mordecai to get a reward for what he's done. Haman unfortunately misheard what the king had asked, and he thought the king had asked what reward Haman should get for all the work he had done. So Haman says what he wants for him to happen to him. And he says he wants to be dressed up in beautiful robes and ridden through the city with everyone cheering and clapping him. So this is what they did to Mordecai, which only angered Haman even more, to see his enemy riding through town living out his fantasy. Now Esther had invited the king and Haman to attend the banquet. They attended the banquet, and the king asked what she wanted as a gift, because he said he would be willing to give up half his estate of everything he owned, which when you're king is a lot of stuff. She requested her and her people's lives be spared from death because of the decree which Haman had set in place. King Xerxes heard this and was outraged and asked, "Who is trying to kill my queen and all her people? Who wants my queen to die?" Esther replied that it was Haman that had said this decree. Xerxes heard this and was outraged. He was so angry and he stormed out. Haman then started begging Esther to spare him. "Please save me. Please change the king's life. Only you can do this." He fell to his feet and was begging in front of her. King Xerxes then walked back in and saw him begging, and this only made him more angry. So then King Xerxes had Haman killed. After Haman's death, the king gave Haman's estate to Esther and Mordecai as a reward. Esther then begged the king to end the Jewish people's suffering and have the law that had all the Jews going to be killed reversed. The king agreed. Esther and Mordecai had saved the Jewish people. Mordecai was rewarded by the king again, this time for saving the Jews, and was given a crown and royal garments, and the whole city celebrated him. As always, the most important bit of any story in the Bible is the lessons that we learn from it. The first lesson we can learn is from Mordecai. Mordecai refused to compromise his beliefs and did not bow to Haman. This initially meant that he came under a lot of persecution. However, long term, he was rewarded, and God stood by him, did not leave his side. The same will happen for us. If we stand with God and do not compromise our beliefs, we will be rewarded long term by being taken to heaven. The second lesson we can learn is from Esther. Esther leaned on God throughout this story. She fasted for 3 days before asking for the banquet. This shows the faith that she had in God. She put everything in God and said, this can only happen through you. You're the only one who can save me and my people. And she is rewarded because her people and her were saved. These are the lessons. Trust in God and you will be rewarded.
Jesus said, come follow me. Mark 1, verse 17. With my heart and what I say, I will follow Jesus every day.
Over here, over there.
I will follow Jesus everywhere.
Over here, over there.
I will follow Jesus everywhere. Jesus said, come follow me. Mark 1, verse 17. With my heart and what I say, I will follow Jesus every day.
Over here, over there.
I will follow Jesus everywhere.
Over here, over there.
I will follow Jesus everywhere.
Over here, over there.
Let's follow Jesus everywhere.